Hello everyone, welcome to another weekly analysis of NQ. This is analysis of NQ going into the week of August 29th. Let's dive into our analysis and how I traded last week. I had a good time in NQ last week. I did not do so well in my ES training. More about that, you could listen to my ES video. But on NQ, I was on the right side and I stayed out of NQ trades on Friday. I ended the week positive, and as of now, I am flat. I don't have any positions going into next week. So let's dive into the weekly. And before I do that, just let's look at the calendar. Looking at the calendar, we do have the JOLTS report, but I think the biggest one is jobless claims. So Thursday, September 1st, we should be careful. And this is going into the Labor Day weekend. Usually, I know that on Labor Day weekends or on any long weekends, the market tends to be positive driven. So just keeping that into mind going into next week. Looking at the weekly channel, we can see this channel here. It topped out this channel right on those supply areas. If you can see, just went up a little bit for finding out all the stop losses and then took them out and then just sold off, and it's headed towards the bottom of the channel. Here at the bottom of the channel, that's the immediate support I can look at. I'll add a price level there. And let's do some trend lines here to see where this is going. So if we look at this trend line here, so I would say that's a trend line, and let's just extend this to the right. And that's definitely a trend line. It did bounce from that trend line there. Now the point that we need to take a note that will it bounce from there or not. But if we zoom out, farther out, we can see here that's a major support there, which is 10,697. So let's say 10,700. Will it ever come to that piece? I don't know. That's quite far away and very hard to predict the market. On the weekly basis, we were overbought and now it's headed down to the oversold territory. Quite far away though, but just keeping that in mind and just touching the average number of volumes, which is close to what 4 million, and that's what it's touching on the weekly basis. So it is catching up on the volume for sure. Now looking at those levels, what are our immediate resistance levels or demand areas? I would say resistance level 1 is here, so I'll add, that's, you can say 13,000, and we are at 12,099 or 12,100 from a weekly point of view in terms of support and resistance. Now that's quite a bit of move, so let's dive into the daily and see if we can narrow it down further. Now looking at the daily, if we draw some trend lines, that's right about where it stopped going down for us. So there is definitely one small resistance here, which is a ladder. So that's 12,750 area. So we're gonna remove this 12,975 area and just try to further hone down where we are. And the other support area that I can see is at 12,440. So let's say 12,400 area. That's right about around 300 points, and you can see that huge move, and that was a very, very big move. So definitely NQ can, make this kind of huge moves. But as of now, these are the two areas that we can see 400 to 745 on a daily with the support, support and resistance areas. Now, one point to note here, it was a huge sell-off day and market is on the daily really sold off. So hoping to see some kind of a relief bounce from here, but the trend is definitely bearish as of now. Now, to further drill down into the hourlies, let's look at the 180-day 4-hourly, and we can make our levels a little bit more precise on the 4-hourly. So activate our price level and move it to be exactly more precise here. So 12,810, and on the support side it's 12,450 area. As you can see, it's not that far away on the hourly low when it closed is 12,557, so we are like around close to 110 points away to that support area. Now I would think it will touch that support and then try to capture the 12,810 and then sell off from there, but that's almost a 400 points move, so I'm not expecting that. So I need to dive further down into the 180-day 1-hourly and see if we can find anything else. On the 1-hourly, I don't see anything else much, but pretty much the same area. There is one topping tail here, and there has been some side movements there. So we can say 12,671, another area of resistance. So let's add that there. And further analysis that we need to do here is find out if there have been any gaps. This chart is getting a little bit cluttered, but let's make sure that we look into gaps, and one gap is here, which is 12,188. So I want to move this one up to that gap as the next support area there. So 12,194, so 12,200, and definitely 12,445. We can see clearly here it broke out and then based here in the hourly. So 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. It did some basing there. Could never break out. So I'm hoping 12,445 gets tested and gets rejected. If the price action gets rejected, then I would take a long here targeting 12,678 for sure. On the hourly, it is oversold, way oversold, so we're keeping that into mind. And if you see here, which is at 12 o'clock, it was high volume, and at 1 o'clock, right after the pit session closes, the volume was not that high. So it definitely sold off really high volume, but then the volume decreased, and on the 12 o'clock, this is Pacific time, so that would be 3 p.m. Eastern time, the volume was really high. So definitely we'll keep that in mind to see if it further tests this support area, and we'll take a long targeting at least 678, but with confirmation either from the 678 680 area or 12,800 area, I will take a short and swing targeting again 12,445 and then leaving a runner for 12,200. That would be my plan going into next week for NQ. As always, keep your stop losses tight, your losses small, and your profit large. Thank you for listening. Have a great trading week.